Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today is something new we're going to try called Real-Time Crafts. We're going to do a DIY Dollar Tree farmhouse wreath. We're going to use one of these white pine wreaths from the Dollar Tree. We're going to use two bunches of the lamb's ears from Walmart, $2. I didn't get them by me, I got them in Texas. Or you could use these 97-cent picks. You probably just need 4 or 5 of them. And then we're going to use various ribbons. I have this ribbon from Hobby Lobby and 2 from the Dollar General that we're going to use. And we're going to use no glue, just scissors. And this is real-time video. So now a lot of times people will comment that I go too fast and I try to fit the content in. And I know there are a lot of people out there who do 5-minute, 10-minute crafts. But I actually wanted to do this in real time with you so that you could craft along. I just thought it would be something special we could do. If you like it, you let me know in the comments down below and we'll do more of them. Not all crafts take 2 hours, but not all crafts can be done in under 15 minutes either. But this is just one of them. So if you have not had the opportunity to grab one of these white pine wreath forms, obviously you can create this look on any wreath form that you want. But I just like this, makes it so much easier. I don't have to use any glue. I don't have to use any extra pipe cleaners or wiring to get everything to stick to this wreath, because all of these little pine branches work that way. So what I've done is I've decided which direction I wanted them all to go, and I'm kind of opening them flat. Even though this isn't going on a table, it's going on a door, so you don't need it to be like a 360-degree wreath. You don't need pine to be around the back. And they are kind of scarce, so if you wanted to double up and use 2, like I showed in the ingredients list, I was just going to say, in the supply list, you can do that as well. But I wanted to show you that as you open this up, seems like there's always a bare spot where it starts and ends, and we're going to pay attention to that bare spot because we're going to leave it bare. Because I figured we're going to put a bow on here. Might as well put a bow where there's a bare spot. And this way we don't have to worry about how to disguise the bare spot later. So I'm taking these sprigs of lamb's ear from Walmart. Now, like I mentioned in the introduction, I did not get these at my Walmart. I found them in Texas. My Walmart has never carried these, so I can sympathize with you if you've not been able to find them. But obviously you could just use whatever greenery you want. I just thought the lamb's ear with the white pine really did envelop that wintry, soft feel that we have this time of year. And I'm not cutting them, and I'm not gluing them. All I'm doing is I'm manipulating the leaves, which are just that soft rubbery type of plastic. So I'm just manipulating them, trying to warm that plastic up with my fingers a little bit, just getting the leaves to sort of turn in the direction that I want them to be. You don't want them all to be forward because that's not natural. You will see the backs of some leaves if this was a live plant that we were working with. But you do the best you can and manipulate them the best you can. Now all I'm doing is I'm bending the wire to go around the shape of the wreath form. And if you notice, I actually am putting the lamb's ear in the same, sort of that same direction as the pine. And I'm using the pieces of pine to go over and hold the lamb's ear in place. So I'm pulling back some leaves and I'm taking 2 opposing pieces of pine. One that was over on the left, I'm pushing it towards the right, and the one that was over on the right, I'm pushing it towards the left. And this is what's holding the lamb's ear on to the wreath. Then we're going to cover the stem of the previous one with the next bunch. And we're going to just do the same thing. Now I will tell you, 3 out of 4 of them were very cooperative. 1 of them was not. But that's okay. In nature, nothing's perfect. Except nature itself, obviously. But you just want to continue to make it look the best you can. Now we're going to add to this. But I also wanted to talk to you about design. You guys know I always try to get you to just be inspired by me, but not to copy me. Do your own design. You could stop and go anywhere you want to go with this. I did like the 97-cent picks from the Walmart that I got before Christmas, which is the lamb's ear that was sort of flocked with a little bit of glittery snow. But I just thought that was just, I didn't really feel like having a little bit of bling, like a little sparkle in this wreath. But that was my original intention. I was going to use the regular lamb's ear with the sparkle to kind of add just a little bit of glisten. But then I just opted out of it afterwards. The other thing I realized that this is the 15-inch wreath form. Had we gotten the 18-inch wreath form, this would probably seem a little, I don't want to say it looks very crowded. To me, it looks very full. But if you use the 18-inch wreath form, it will look a lot more open, I guess is what I was trying to say. Okay, and when you get to the last one, you just want to do the same things, but you want to tuck the stem under the first set of leaves. Now, we'll still leave that space that we had originally, the beginning and end of the wreath, that sparse area. That's okay, because we're going to put the bow there. Okay, now I was kind of like, could I put an ornament there? I kind of was leaning towards the really cute deer in the wooden wreath, antler wreath. Again, that has just a little bit too much sparkle on there for me for this type of year. All I did was take the wreath from around his neck so he looked a little less Christmassy, a little bit more woodlands. He was really cute on there, but again, he just had too much sparkle in there for me. So I just opted to leave that out. Now you could just go ahead and add your bow, and this would be much more of a simpler wreath. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this ribbon from Hobby Lobby. This, I have to tell you, I have to thank all of you lovelies who reached out to me and told me about this beautiful ribbon. It was 50% off before Christmas. You got 75 feet of ribbon for $5. It's better than any Dollar Tree purchase that I've ever made in my entire life. I did go ahead and subsequently buy a second one, but I'm still working on the first one. I'm only about halfway done. Okay? And I put it all over my Christmas tree, so I'm just saying. So what I'm doing here is I've started at the very end where basically where that space is. I've just taken a little piece of the ribbon and wrapped it around one of the little branches. And now I'm just going to balloon sections. I'm going to make balloon sections or puff sections. What I'm just going to do is I'm going to leave a little section of ribbon, and then I'm going to twist a little section closed. And then I was contemplating, do I just want the ribbon to go around the outside, or do I want it to go outside, inside? But this is a matter of design. This is a matter of personal preference. Go ahead and do what you want. You could leave the ribbon off entirely if you want to. But I want to show you that even if I placed it I placed it on the inside, and I could always just try to move it to the outside by just moving it around the leaves, or vice versa. So you just go with it, play with it, design it as you wish. Design what looks good to you. It's not always what's going to look good to everybody else, but you have to live with it. You have to be happy with it, and it's all about what you want. Now you can weave this just twist it and turn it and tuck it, or you could just bubble it up like I'm doing here in sections. Again, that's a matter of personal preference. And then when you just get to the end, you're just going to do the same thing. You're going to twist the end around a little bit piece of the pine and cut it off. Okay, and I'm going to set it aside, and we're going to make the bow. Now the bow we're going to make is a bow that I learned how to make, I don't know, I was 11, 12, 13, maybe 14 years old. Mrs. Mahoney was one of the parents at the marching band, and we used to sell Easter candy as a fundraiser, and we all had to sit around and make these bows. So basically what she taught us to do was to take sections of the ribbon, however wide we wanted the bow to be, just a tiny bit wider because you'll lose space when you poof it up. And then you're just going to fold over and create however many loops that you want. Now, originally I was thinking 3 loops on each side of each type of ribbon. But then I was like, Jeri-Ann, this is a 15-inch wreath form. That's going to swallow this wreath. So you'll see I'm going to end up cutting off 1 loop off of each ribbon. But what I did was I took this ribbon from Hobby Lobby, and then I had this ribbon from the Dollar General, which is just a much smaller sort of gingham, to same black and white. And I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to create the same size loops, and I'm going to create 3 on each side, which is basically looping it 3 times. I think the things to remember is you want to make sure that your cut ends are both on the same side of the loop, if that makes any sense. Basically, you want full pieces all to be on the bottom. You want, if you're going to start on the left with your cut piece, then you're going to end on the right where you're going to cut it. You just want to make sure that your cut pieces overlap in the center of the bow. Okay? And then the last ribbon I decided to use was, I had some of this white burlap from the Dollar General as well. It's $2 a roll, where normally you just get $1 at the Dollar Tree, but the quality of this is just a little bit better, in my opinion. It is a wider weave like the natural edged burlap ribbon that they have at the Dollar Tree, but it's wire edged, and it's a little bit more, I don't know, the texture is just a little bit better. I like the wire edged ribbon from the Dollar Tree, that fine linen one, but I've never found white. So when I saw this, I was just excited. I thought it went with the white of the wreath and also with the black and white with the check. But it will break up all of that black and white check. Okay? So I'm going to layer them with big check, white, little check. And this is where I decided, like, no, Jeri, that's too much ribbon. You're going to swallow this wreath up whole. So what I decided to do was to remove one set of loops from each of the sets of loops, and that will become my tails. So I don't have to cut any additional tails. So now each loop has, each set of ribbon has 2 loops. So basically start, go around once, go around twice, and then end. Okay, and I'm going to cut off that one extra loop off of each ribbon, so I have 3 tails. And we're going to layer them the same way. The tails we're going to layer big check, white, little check, just like we're going to layer the bow. Okay? Now this was probably the most difficult part. Part of it is my arthritis, part of it is having lousy scissors. You know, I use my scissors for everything, and eventually they all get worn out, and when you get them for cheap, they end up being like not great quality anyway. But what the trick is to do is to fold the ribbon in half, and you want to find center. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cut a notch out. Now originally, I'll show you the first one that I tried to do. I was trying to cut them all at the same time. Oh, Jeri, I don't think that's going to happen. That's actually cutting through 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 layers of wire. Yeah, that wasn't going to happen. So I decided to tackle them each individually. I started with the small one, folded it in half. And then originally I was just trying to like cut through it. But you're supposed to cut like a notch out. This is what Mrs. Mahoney taught us, to cut almost like a V notch out. But you know, it works too if you just cut into it to create sort of just a place to hold your wire. Okay? But you can see here I'm trying to cut a notch out. It's just that this particular ribbon from the Dollar General as well is a very thick, a nice thick burlap, which is really, really good quality, but again, it's hard to cut through. Oddly enough, the thinnest ribbon was the one from Hobby Lobby. So just as long as you can keep center and you don't want to cut all the way through, just go ahead and cut notches on both sides, and we're going to do that to all of the sections. You also want to make sure that you don't flip it over accidentally and keep one of your cut ends up. You want to make sure all your cut ends are down. All right. Now, once I realized the formula, it was easy. What I ended up having to do was to cut through pretty much each ribbon individually, each layer of ribbon individually, which was fine. As long as you can keep center mass, that's fine. Okay. And then I want to stack them, and I want to line their grooves up as I stack them. Now I'm stacking them upside down, so when you see cut edges up, you'll understand. But now I'm also going to notch the tails, which isn't necessary. It really isn't. The only reason I deemed it necessary is because if you see that white twist tie I made over there, that was the twist ties that were on the lamb's ear, and I just tried to like upcycle them. So I knew that they weren't going to be as long as a pipe cleaner or some floral wire would be. So I wanted to notch them out just so to relieve some of the bulk in the wire. And now that I have that, I'm just going to twist around all of those empty spaces. Cut spaces. You want to make sure the wire fits through all the cut spaces. Pinch it in the middle as best you can while you twist the 2 wires together. And then once you have it nice and secure, I think my other favorite trick that she taught me is if you're going to always pull, like your right hand will pull the inside loop out, your left hand pulls the top loop out. Keep that consistent throughout the whole bow. Now, I don't know if that is necessary. That's just a trick she taught me. That's the trick I'm passing on to you. I do love its results, so maybe it is necessary. Basically, what I mean by that is, as you can see, my right hand is always pulling the inside loop out, and the left hand is pulling the outside loop over, and this way it just kind of keeps that circular sort of form motion. Now you want to pull it all the way to the end so that the notches that you cut will actually hold the bow out and not try to fold it back onto itself. Now I just flip the wreath over and I use the rest of that wire to wire it on to the wreath form. You can put a hanger on this, but because the wire is so thin on that wreath, it's just going to go right over our hook. And now here's the opportunity to do whatever you want. You can zhuzh it. We love the word zhuzh, don't we? Z-H-U-Z-H. Pretty sure that's how you spell it. But what we're doing here is we're going to dovetail the the tail ends, excuse me. The dovetail is when you can fold it in half and create that V-notch. Dog ear is when you just cut like an angle on it. But we're going to dovetail all of these ends. And again, that's an option. You don't have to have any tails on this bow. We actually, since we wove the one ribbon through, it would look really cute without any tails at all. It may be just a little too much. Once I put the bow on it, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have weaved the ribbon in and out. But because we didn't glue it, and because it's just stuck in there, it's going to be so easy to pull out if we don't want it there. So this is where I love to be able to, you guys, to make it personal, make it your own, and do whatever works for you, honestly. Okay? And now it's just a matter of fluffing it up, fluffing it out, and this is where I decided, like, yeah, I have too much going on the inside. So let me start pushing like all of the lamb's ear out and, opening that circle up in the middle. My bow might be a tiny bit too big for this 15-inch wreath, but I think it's really pretty and I like it. So, no, I'm just kidding. I do value your opinion, but I'm fine. I like it. Sounds like something I would say to my sisters. So yeah, that's it. Like I said, you can go ahead and put a hanger on it if you want, especially if you wanted to keep it directional. Like if you wanted the bow to be off to the side or on the bottom, you can go ahead and add a little twist tie or one of our little jute nooses that we do. But otherwise, just take it, fluff it, zhuzh it, put it on your door. You can also add embellishments to the bow if you want to. Maybe some of those glittery berries would have looked really cute if you want to add a little bling. But I just love it plain and simple and in real time. So I really, really hope you guys enjoyed this. I really hope you enjoyed doing it with me while I was doing it. And if you do, give this video a thumbs up. Again, if you want to see more of these real-time crafts, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. I would love to do them on live streams. I just can't craft and talk to you at the same time. But if Jimmy can do it with me, we can do it together, okay? So give this video a thumbs up. Share with friends and family, anybody who might be interested in crafting along with us. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe. And when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And as always, you guys, take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye.